If you cheat on your boyfriend with your boyfriend, does it really count? Howdy hole, and welcome back to Hole Chat, a boy love and girl love podcast that doesn't actually think you can fix him, but respects your decision to try. I'm your host, Chuck, and with me is someone who is perfect, no notes, Keelz.
Thank you. You are also perfect. Also, what was that open? Good Lord.
Guess what?
Not cheating if it's with your boyfriend? What is happening?
It's a valid statement to make about today's comic.
Okay.
Yeah, I found a comic that really does answer this question.
I have bad feelings, Scoob.
I think plenty of people have weird feelings about this one. I liked it. I had a good time. But I have read enough of other people's comments to tell that they're not stoked about it in some cases.
I've just never been into the idea of, Splinter fan fiction. I don't want to fuck another body.
I understand.
Another personality.
I understand. Well, we're going to get into something stupid today. I wanted to talk to you about Double Trap by Goodmen, which is a 2022 boy love manhwa about a young man and his unrequited love for his older friend that becomes requited. Kind of. Eventually. They get there.
Minus a hole. Honestly, the minus hole is for the title. I really don't like that title.
Double Trap? Dude, okay. As far as the title, I agree with you, because I saw this title. I looked at the art on the cover, and I looked at it and I said, no, not today. Double Trap, the way that this art was drawn, I was like, something about this is telling me, I don't know if I have time for this today. It set off alarm bells,
It's nonsense. It's like, no, this is not the nonsense I want today.
Well, there's like a kind of a naming convention for when you know a comic might be more fucky than you're ready to deal with for a day. You know what I mean? Like, In the Deep.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dangerous.
Yeah, it had that kind of edge to it where I was like, what is this? And then when I actually sat down to start reading it, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like very, very kombucha girl kind of reaction to it.
No offense. And this is just my opinion. But Double Trap, honestly, just it sounds like a really bad spy versus spy love romance story. And I don't know, it sounds kitschy. And I don't like it. And I'm just gonna be that bitch. I'm judgy. I'm just gonna say minus a hole. I really don't like this title. I'm sorry. I don't know what art looks like. I don't know what we're working with. But hearing the name Double Trap makes me cringe a little bit.
It sounds like this sort of...
It's like the word moist.
It sounds like the sort of direct-to-video film that Steven Seagal would be in. Like, current stage Steven Seagal. You know what I mean? So I do understand. Or, like, a really shitty dub of a really good, Chinese action film.
Yeah, they do that where they give them really bad titles.
In this case, though, it is very accurate to what's going on once you get into it. The title does make sense.
Don't like it. You can't convince me to trust it.
Fair.
I'm seeing no art so far.
No, fair.
So if you just gave me blank cover... if you gave me your manuscript and I'm Steven Spielberg gonna make a movie and I see that's the cover, I'm gonna light up a cigar with $100 bill and tell you to get out of my office. Actually, that's bad. Steven Spielberg actually might like this title.
He probably
would.
We'll get into it, but I will go ahead and say that this was meant to be a light, porn-filled jaunt about two people with a long history falling in love, but the author played themselves.
The author can't do light and chill, can they?
No.
I appreciate an author like that. No joke. I love authors who are like, this time is going to be super chill and it's going to be great. I appreciate them because I am one of them. Uh-huh. I have no chill. People who read my stuff hate me. And they have every right to. So
The whole time I read this, I was like, this is just my wife. My wife would do something like this. Oh, the author did a lot of research. My wife would do exactly this. You wanted to draw pornography? You're getting to do that. But
big but it's scary, or it's traumatic,
Yeah.
or it's angsty,
Yeah,
or it's
yeah.
something. Yeah, I am this person. 100% no.
Yeah.
I just know. All right.
So depending on how you feel about certain elements in this one, it ranges from a little fucky wucky to holy shit, that's dubious. So this is your warning now. We'll be talking about dubious sexual situations or where the consent is confirmed at a later time. If that is not your bag, bye for now. We'll see you next time.
And to let you know, I'm okay with dubious. I have a strong stance on I don't want to be here if there's full-on rape in a story. So that's when I'm typically not in one of these episodes. Dubious consent, I'm more okay with. Because honestly, like, sometimes if someone's a little pushy, it's kind of hot.
It's a little hot, yeah.
But if it's just left at, like, kissing and, like, I don't know, whatever. Or if it's like, no, but I really mean yes. Okay, I'm down.
I would also, I'm putting this warning here because I do not think it gets to anywhere too far for, like, the average yaoi enjoyer. But I want to be careful. Just, give yourself grace, and if you're nervous about it, don't. Obviously, we're not going to go, like, super, super far into describing a lot of things in detail. So this is probably your best opportunity to kind of get an idea for what's going on. I will say, when I was doing research on this comic, I found a couple of comments where people were like, this is the worst thing I've ever read. No, not true. Legitimately not. I've read something worse in the last week. But, just putting it out there.
Yeah, like, dubious consent is one of those things that I think people can be touchy on.
Mm-hmm.
Much like non-canon stories and other taboo elements like, I don't know, incest, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, so, just beware, dubious consent, run or stay. But
Yes.
I'm staying.
Yeah. Okay, so, let's dive in. Let's do it. So we start off with Jinsung, who is living a pretty good life. He's new to college, gets to live in the city, and he spends his days hanging out with his most favorite person, Yura, his hyun. Every day is a new opportunity to hang out and enjoy Yura's company. They eat together, commute to campus together, play games, and so much more. Maybe it's because they're both only children, but they're closer than brothers, and it's been that way for years.
All of this feels ominous. Like, I don't know if it's how you wrote it or how you're reading it. I feel uncertain.
Okay, that's valid. Jinsung's so grateful to have had Yura's support, especially in the last couple of years.
I don't like that heel turn you just did.
So as long as he keeps his romantic feelings to himself, he and Yura will continue to live a normal, comfortable life. That's the first shoe. So it's kind of suspicious that Jinsung awakes one morning to his room littered with condoms and tissues. He's also naked except for an oversized t-shirt. Jinsung is exhausted both physically and mentally. Just how the fuck did he end up in this mess with a heavy conscience and a leaking ass?
Head in my hands. God.
But college classes wait for no one, so he's forced to put his thoughts aside and head to campus. He makes it just in time to not be marked tardy and joins his best friend, Hyunmin. Hyunmin is already concerned since his fairly responsible friend has been late a lot recently and looks increasingly exhausted. But what could be bothering him when he lives in pure bliss with Yura Hyun?
Question, has he been having sex multiple times and this is just another encounter of it?
What a great question.
You're not going to answer. Christ. Go on.
After class, Hyunmin tries to coax out an explanation from Jinsung. It's obvious something's going on between Jinsung and Yura. Maybe a fight? But Jinsung assures him that's not the case. Because that would be too simple. So Jinsung flashes back to the previous evening. He'd arrived home and called out to his hyun, inquiring to his whereabouts. A voice from his left asked why he was so late, revealing Yura leaned up against the wall directly next to the entrance. Let's take a quick pause. This is Jinsung. This is Yura. At their very first time that you see them in the comic.
Sorry. Okay, the reason I'm laughing is they look like interpretations of, like, Bakugo and Deku from My Hero Academia. So it's giving me a laugh based on the guesses I already have for this story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, like, ugly laughter.
The characters are fairly shonen coded, I would say, as far as, like, their designs. They look kind of like you could put goggles on their head and give them a Digimon and send them off.
Yeah, it looks like someone's interpretation of My Hero Academia. Less cute and more, like, grown up.
Yes, but just showing kind of all the different times that they have with each other. They're very sweet. They have this good relationship, and then this is the scene where he's woken up in his room and there's condoms strewed and, like, tissues everywhere. And he's having to get his life right. And this is his friend Hyunmin.
Joe from Digimon Season 1.
Legitimately, I'm not only just now realizing they do look kind of like older Digimon characters.
Yeah.
I'm not upset.
I'm not upset. Joe is my favorite from Digimon Season 1. I love a stressed out kid who's too responsible.
This dude is weirder than Joe.
I mean, I wasn't assuming it was Joe.
Okay, well, like
you can look like a character and not be the character.
He's weird. I like him, but he's weird. And then
it's Bakugo. I mean, it's Yura.
We do get a little shot of Yura, so maybe I don't have. Okay, I don't have. Okay, but point is,
no, I'm not knocking the art either for those listening. It just does happen to look like popular characters. That could even be on purpose. Could be someone's fan fiction.
There's nothing wrong with the art. It really is just like, it's kind of a unique style for boy love. And that it looks a little more like on the shonen side.
Yeah, and also it kind of looks a little blended like with a DC comic or a Marvel comic. Mm-hmm. Like this is like Harley Quinn meets manhwa, I guess. Like any of the Harley Quinn comics that have been out in the last like 5 to 10 years meets that. Or like, ooh, Spider-Man. It gives me Spider-Man comic vibes, especially.
Yeah. But so, Jinsung's just entered his home. This is like the evening before. He's just entered his home. Yura's there, leaned up against the wall, directly next to the entrance. Yura was aware of Jinsung's class schedule and had become worried when he didn't arrive home on time. Which is like, at this point, normal behavior. They're very close. Well, as we get more into this, you'll see why this is like even more normal.
How late is late, though? 5 minutes or like an hour?
It is the evening and he should have been off at like 4:30, so it's already like dark.
Okay. Fair to be like, where were you?
Yes.
Okay.
So like past their normal like snack and dinner time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jinsung claimed that he was with a friend, but maybe, Yura posited as he grabbed Jinsung by the collar, he just didn't want to spend more time with this Hyung. Yura then pulled Jinsung into his arms, one hand firmly on the younger man's ass, as he asked if said ass was okay that morning. He then demanded Jinsung to open his mouth, and their tongues meshed together as the chapter fades to black. So yeah, not a fight, but a secret sluttier thing.
This does have that dubious vibe, because at this point, you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yes, and also, this is Yura's face when he's being like, are you sure you didn't just want to avoid me?
It looks like he's on drugs.
It's not comfortable. Like, no. It's that, like, the best you get to is dangerous sexy.
Yeah, because, like, his eyes are too wet. It looks like he's on something. Like, he's not like, I'm on meth, but, like, he's on weed, you know?
He looks at least a little bit dangerous. And then the, like, fierce making out. So that it's very clear Jinsung is into this, even if there's like an air of nervousness and tension around the situation.
It is. Like, again, this feels like weird Bakugo and Deku porn. Sorry. Oh, and that's a lightsaber.
Oh, we'll get into the lightsaber in a second.
That's uncomfortable. I really like the setting of this image.
The framing?
Yeah, the framing is really good.
Oh, the framing's sick in this. I love it.
Like, it feels like a horror movie, and the perspective is good, too. But also, look at that lightsaber, though. I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, okay, all correct feelings. All very correct feelings. So, I'm going to take a second to reiterate that this comic is filled with smut scenes. So if I don't mention gratuitous fucking, just know it's there. If I've skimmed over it, just assume there was a sex scene in whatever I skimmed over.
I'll probably announce it, because Chuck does show me saved images. And if you're like, oh, let's just skip past this. No, my ass will be screaming about the lightsaber. Oh, another one. So don't worry.
Well, also, I'm pretty sure I have a note somewhere where I have to show you like
more
3 full chapters or something like that. Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll surprise myself.
Is it a secret note like you did before?
No, I actually marked it in the proper spot so I can pause and talk to you about it.
I don't mind the secret note. It was funny as hell last time because you surprised yourself.
I've grown. I'm different now.
It's okay.
Well, case in point, the next chapter continues the flashback, which is fine. But it's not super plot relevant outside of one thing that Jinsung thinks as he's swapping spit and getting fingered. Technically, this is not my Hyung.
Alright.
We now have confirmation that Jinsung and Yura have been doing the nasty, but there are still plenty of questions. Why, when, how, what, and sometimes where. We have to go a bit further back to understand that.
And also, this is technically not his Hyung.
And he's aware of it.
Alright.
Alright. So
my splinter joke is coming to reality.
So he flashback even further. It all started with a joke condom. Jinsung's school bag had spilled its contents onto the floor while he was in the shower, strewing his water bottle, pins, notebook, and of course, a single wrapped condom. So all of his junk is just spewed onto the floor or whatever. He's in the shower at the time, doors closed, one condom. I don't know if this is everybody's lived experience, but giving joke condoms is such a thing. I have a joke condom that somebody picked up for me from a con. We've definitely both bought joke condoms and stuck them in somebody else's bag. Did we buy your brother condoms to fuck with him at one point? Or did he buy you a condom?
I bought the condoms. It wasn't to fuck with my brother, it was to fuck with my dad.
Yeah, there you go.
I realized I could buy condoms at 18 because, I live in the South, so it was under my thought, because I didn't know, that I had to be 21 to buy condoms. So when a college friend told me, no, you can buy condoms at any time, I went out and bought a pack of condoms, and then we spent the whole box being really shitty teenagers and flicking them at cars. And then the last half of the box, I flicked at my dad. Meaning I took the condoms out of their package, I unrolled them, put one end on my finger, and let it fly at my dad. The first one confused him. The second one, he kind of laughed. And then as he started to get assaulted by tons of wet condoms, and then he realized they were coming from his college-age daughter, he's like, what the fuck is going on? My mom almost pissed herself laughing. They were trying to scold me, but I'm 19. And my dad's just like, what is happening? And my mom's trying to be like, young lady. But, my name, not young lady, but I don't want to reveal my name. But still, it was a great time. I did have to answer some questions. And then I had to confess, I didn't know I could buy condoms at this age. So I bought a bunch and put a bunch of condoms everywhere. And they're like, did you use the whole box just throwing them at people? And I was like, yes, I did. I saved the last 20 for my dad.
Yeah. Can confirm. It was funny.
50 fucking condoms gone in an hour.
But this is just kind of par for the course. We did joke condoms. I haven't given a joke condom. I feel like other people also do the joke condom where they're like, well, I'm going to give you one just to kind of fuck around. It's not that surprising. So that Jinsung was given one. Totally kosher. Totally normal. But with the bag spilled open, Yura had come to the door to announce that dinner was ready, but he found himself staring intently at that one conspicuous item. Jinsung exited the bathroom and met Yura's eyes, noting that there seemed to be a strange glint that he'd never seen before, strange enough that it caught him off guard. It was gone just as quickly as it came, but the awkwardness between them remained for some time. Maybe because, despite their closeness, they'd never really talked about sex or relationships at all. It just hadn't come up.
Okay, so before they were doing the nasty all the time, this moment of finding the joke condom, it caused a moment of tension. They're just Yura's just kind of what do I do about this?
Yeah, they don't talk about it, which is a theme in this comic. They don't talk about it, and it's kind of weird because I will establish that Jinsung is 20 at this point, and Yura is 26. So not that they would necessarily be gabbing all the time about sexual exploits or something like that, but it's he's 26. It doesn't seem like he's dated anybody. Jinsung at least has a reason maybe why he hasn't dated anybody, because it's this huge crush on Yura that's been established and stuff. But it's weird that Yura isn't bringing anybody over, doesn't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. He's just hanging out at 26, spending all of his time with his, like, little buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can already guess what's going on here. And, like, if it goes a certain way, I like this story. If it goes another way, I'm gonna minus, like, 5 holes. Like, I'm just gonna groan minus 5 holes, and you'll probably have to, like, I don't know, tone down my whining or something. But, no, I'm intrigued, because, like, interesting. Also interesting that the condom is the issue, because if I pretend I don't know they're fucking, you could assume that it's like, well, I'm your big brother, and my little brother's having sex, oh my gosh. Like, if you pretend they're just regular friends, you could kind of see the weirdness here.
And I kind of feel like that should have been the feeling, but you'll see that's not.
Well, I mean, you can't have that feeling because we started off with the room littered in condoms and tissues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know they fucked.
But even now, I'm thinking that if I'm looking back, it's like, that should have been the conversation that happened here. Whatever the situation was, and that didn't happen, you know.
It's also like, you're both adults. You don't have to ask about the condom.
As we get more into how they're together, it will make more sense that this could have, or probably should have come up.
Okay.
But, so, they don't talk about it, and then they continued to avoid any discussion and continued to act as usual until there was no more awkwardness left between them. It just ended up being a night just like any other.
Y'all are weird.
That is, until Yura snuck into Jinsung's room, lifted Jinsung's shirt, and jacked off onto his stomach.
That was the lightsaber.
Which Jinsung was mostly unknowingly awake for. So
that's uncomfortable.
You might be thinking that this is the sort of thing that would make a person upset or afraid for their well-being, and that's totally fair. But Jinsung is not that person. And instead of being put off, he is ecstatic that Yura likes him back. This is physical confirmation that his feelings are actually being reciprocated, which is honestly a fair thought for a lovesick 20-year-old to have. But this is why when people are like, oh, this is really fucked up, every fucked up action has an equal and opposite unfucked reaction. Because Jinsung's just like, yeah, give it to me. Holy shit.
Jinsung is also responding with his own fucked up answer.
Yes.
Like, he wants it, but, like, as someone who is 10 years older than, you know, them, my mind immediately is like, ooh, that's crazy and unsettling. Good thing this is a comic.
Like, this is not how you want to start out your relationship, but that's what they're doing. And then, as we were chatting about a second ago, the scene where Yura is standing over Jinsung's, like, you know, prone body, and, like, he's, like, got his, you know, dick gripped and whatever. It's drawn at an angle that makes it seem so ominous.
It's very ominous. Like, I like how they play it off, because, like, while Jinsung is okay with this is not an okay thing to do. So I think it's kind of nice that they're portraying it as like, no, this is reasonably terrifying.
Yeah, and honestly, the look on Yura's face, like, normally he's very, like, calm and chill looking at her. It's like, hey, little buddy, what do you want to do? And don't worry, I'll take you to blah, blah, blah. And here, it looks like
Bakugo. You'll have to show me a calm face, because you've only shown me his crazy faces, and all I'm seeing is Bakugo.
Well, again, yeah, I
guess
yeah, that's fair.
There's not one sane face you've showed me yet. He's like, fight me, Deku! Like, all the time, except, you know, he's got a lightsaber in his hand.
Yeah, well, this is just them being, like, kind of cute and normal.
Okay, like, that's a normal face.
Yeah. But yeah, so just the way that this is framed looks extra concerning for you, the reader. So if I just told you, oh, he just jacks off into your stomach, you're concerned. When you read it, you're like, oh no, hello, Policia?
I think if you hear it as a story, you should be like, oh no, Policia. But the image helps really establish that this is creepy and terrifying. I really appreciate that. Even though Jinsung is a little freak, but, like, he's a little freak into it.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, communication should happen. And I like that because it hasn't. We have this weird, creepy thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I'm very interested when people are like, hey, yes, this is horny porn, but also, like, let's freak you out a little bit.
Terrifying, yeah.
I appreciate it because, like, I don't know if it's just that I want some realism in stories, but, like, if someone acts too out of character when something happens, I want to throw up. Oh my god, you punched me in the face, but it's because you love me so much. What the fuck is that? Did you just say? Like, you know. I want a normal reaction.
Yeah. So Jinsung ignores how off-putting this is, and isn't bothered when Yura continues to come into his room at night and touch him, which is ranging from, like, hugging and cuddling to straight-up molesting. So a good chunk of the time, it's like, he gets in bed next to him, wraps his arms around him, like, we'll just pet him. You're just trying to look for any way to be close to him, but then it slowly devolves into, like, messing with his chest. Like, gently grinding against him.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of things that I think if you were a dumb teenager, you would be trying to do. Like, with your partner, you'd be like, oh, let me just kind of slide in here, and oh, they're asleep, I can just do this. And it's, like, not a good move, but you get it because you're a teen, and teens are just not, you know, firing on all cylinders.
It's a young person mistake. Like, young people, honestly, the point to me about sex as a young person is go ahead and make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks they're going to have great sex as a teenager. Not really. You're going to have bad sex. You're going to have moments that you look back on and go, oh, God.
That was fucking stupid.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Why did I try that? Oh, because I saw it in a book and I thought I could do it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I think that's the whole point of being a young teenager. And I would even argue that Jinsung being 20, that's fine for him to kind of still be in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more worrying that Yura is in that mode, but he's 26.
Yeah.
But it's also worrying because he hasn't apparently dated. So it's just like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's a whole mess.
So at no point do they discuss any of these nightly trysts, by the way. The sun just comes up and their lips are sealed. Like, no discussion. Jinsung doesn't bring it up. He's just like, well, I'm going to keep this train going as long as I can. But you're thinking, he likes me, and you don't say shit. Please. Please
say something.
Yeah. Things only change when Yura's touching becomes so intense that it's impossible not to react. Yura even says something about Jinsung being done pretending, which, makes me a little nervous.
Like, this is really horny. Like, it's one of those stories that's like, yeah, I'm a story, but this is also, you can tell this is straight up porn.
Yeah.
You know what this also kind of reminds me of sometimes? In the way they look at each other? Killing stalking.
Oh, you know? Yeah. Like if killing stalking was, not killing and stalking.
Yeah, like this, like it doesn't remind me of killing stalking all the time, but there's something in the look of their eyes when they're doing something wrong, because you've, again, pulled up another panel for me, that I'm like, oh, this is reminiscent of killing stalking when they were giving each other some fucked up looks. This is a fucked up look. Like, yes, clearly you both like each other, but you're not talking about it, and I'm already suspecting one of you is possessed by a ghost or something, so you know... Whatever.
It's
Oh God, it's not twins, is it?
No, it's not twins this time.
Okay. Fuck.
No. Oh, you know, to be fair, that is honestly one of the things I thought when I first saw the cover was that it was twins.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the summary for it and I was like, no. And I left.
Yeah.
Because there is a comic out right now that I think it is twins and this dude has a crush on one of the twins, but the other twin is the one that likes him, and that gets fucky ducky. Haven't read that yet, because again, I was too tired.
Yeah. In my naive years, I read a twin one that I knew I shouldn't have. You know when you pick up a comic and you know it's not for you, but you do it anyways? I did. I read it. I scarred the fuck out of myself. I can never probably read a comic with twins again. There's one twin comic on here that you talked to me about.
Yeah.
That I did actually go and read because it sounded so nice. And it was nice. But, like, I tell you, the moment I hear that there's, like, a twin situation, I'm like, I can't. I can never again read about twins. Goodbye. Forever.
Totally fair. Totally fair. But yeah, so the nervousness is mounting at this point.
Uh-huh.
What's weirder is as they start making out, that he encourages Jinsung to keep it down so he doesn't wake him up without specifying who him is.
Ghost. Possession.
But Jinsung ignores all of this weirdness and just succumbs to the one thing he's wanted for years at this point. Which I will say, Yura does at least ask if he has permission, so there's, like, kind of consent, kind of didn't, like...
Well, that's consent with Jinsung But Yura's a ghost.
Suspicious.
Yura's a ghost. Is the person that is inside Yura not a ghost? Like, is he... Wait, that's not what I meant. Is the person in Yura actually aware of what's happening while this ghost pilots his body? Because
Great question.
I think it's a ghost.
Excellent questions.
Until I know what it is, it's a ghost.
But yeah, so they have like a regular fucky time. They get into Pound Town. There is like, hey, it's chill if I do this, right? Like, you're good with this, right?
No, there's a lot of like checking and stuff, but we already know Yura's a ghost or something. So.
Well, the next morning, after, they're fucking, Jinsung wakes up naked and alone, but unsurprised. No matter how earth-shattering the night before was, they're still students with responsibilities, and Yura also has a job. Jinsung is all aflutter that his crush of 6 years has finally been reciprocated. He's excited, but also nervous to face his young after all that hard dicking.
So he's been in love with him since he's like 14 or something.
Yes. Since middle, like the very end of middle school, I believe.
Yeah, 14 or 15-ish.
Yeah. He goes to Yura's workplace, which is at a lab, in the afternoon to walk him home, which is not an unusual thing for them to do. They are truthfully joined at the hip a lot of the time, and so they will regularly go pick each other up or drop each other off or bring each other lunch and stuff like that. Like, if you know them and their history, you think they're brothers. If you don't know them, you would probably think, is that your boyfriend? Kind of energy. Mm-hmm. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Because that's how, like, entrenched they are in each other's lives. The only difference is, this time, Jinsung's rocking a blush and stuttering over his words. As they make their way back home, Jinsung debates whether or not to reach out and touch his young's hand. They're so close after all, and it'd be so easy just to close that gap. Just before Jinsung can seal the deal, Yura gets his attention and informs him that his lab mates invited him to dinner that evening, so go home and don't wait up. Jinsung wears a look that's somewhere between dejected and expectant. Like when you say walkies in front of a dog, but you don't leash them up. That kind of like, But you said
we were going to do a thing.
Yeah. And he asked that he come home early. So he's like, Yura, please come home early. Puppy dog face kind of situation. Yura ruffles his hair, commenting how cute and clingy Jinsung is being, and tells him he's just one call away if something happens.
Okay, new theory.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hyde, Mr. Jekyll.
Fascinating.
You said lab. He took something at his lab. He took a potion, and now he's a sex beast at night.
It's not that kind of lab. I think they do germ theory.
Oh, well, you said lab mate, so I'm thinking science.
Well, yeah, he is in science, but they're like...
Well, I'm thinking fake science is what I'm thinking.
No, they're doing real college-appropriate science. He's, like, touching that much.
It doesn't really matter. I'm just, like, my brain was like, oh, sci-fi. You
know,
that's where I was.
Jinsung throws his body onto Yura's, hugging him and reiterating that it'll be seriously sad if Yura doesn't return home early. He's actually being pretty cute. Like, he's the right level of needy that would imply he knows he's special to Yura. So nothing, again, out of his wheelhouse. Weird. Feels very much like your younger, younger friend being like, don't go, blah, 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 right?
But also, it could be your datey friend.
Right. So it could be either one, because again, they are joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Yura's body stiffens, and when Jinsung glances up, he's met with a strange, strained, and avoidant Yura. Like, homie looks like he's about to break out into a sweat and can barely stand looking at Jinsung. Which is anything but typical, and especially weird since they smashed last night.
It wasn't him, it was Dr. Hyde or whatever.
This is the face
Mr. Jekyll. Oh, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's because, again, you get that sharp angle from below looking up at his face, and he looks extremely off-putting.
Nah, man. It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation.
Yeah, so it's extremely off-putting. He awkwardly pulls himself away from Jinsung and disappears into the night. Jinsung, while at home, was oscillating between sad and pissed before finally settling on big angy. Like, he woke up in the middle of the night, livid, angrily chugging water, because here's his big, strong, mature Hyung acting like an asshole. Which, full respect, being so pissed that you wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Love that for him.
I like that he's chugging water because it feels like such a boy thing.
Yeah.
Because we have a brother, and like, that just feels like something he would do after he lost Halo. Just stomp, 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 chug a gallon of water from the fridge.
It's absolutely that. But embarrassment be damned. He's a grown man and should be able to handle starting a relationship.
You didn't talk to him. First, hey, back up. Y'all just had sex.
Mm-hmm.
And until the words are out the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
y'all ain't dating. Lesson for everyone who's listening to this. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but for those that maybe do need to hear it, if you're fucking and that's it, and y'all done no communication, there's a 80% chance you're not dating.
Mm-hmm.
There is still 20% chance you are and you're both being stupid, but there's a pretty big chance you're not dating. Get it in writing. Get it in verbalization. Come on.
Maybe not writing, but at least, like, discuss it.
Make him write it out in the FAP note.
Whoa!
Get a FAP note and be like, you must sign this to say we're dating.
Okay.
And then you can come on my titties. FAP note.
Okay.
That's not how we did it.
The way that you're saying that implies that is... Just stop. It's 0% helpful. Again, this is a running theme that they are not communicating. And in Jinsung's case, I understand him being like, I don't feel like I can talk about it.
He's little. No, like, and I don't mean like he's a baby, but he's 20 years old. I truly...
Yes. He makes more sense. His first relationship, he never dated anybody because he was all, messed up about Yura. I get where he's coming from. Yura is the one where I'm like, please, God.
Yours the one where, like, he's a hard call. Because, like, on one hand, my brain is like, was Yura sheltered? Because, like, I grew up in the South. Again, that's where I'm coming from. It's not uncommon to meet people who were sheltered until, like, mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the other hand, it's like, you have friends. They've probably told you their sexcapades.
Yeah.
You should know what's up if you're fucking your little homie. But then there's the third thing, which is he's Dr. Jekyll. Wait.
Dr. Jekyll.
That he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's what's happening.
He is not sheltered.
So he's not sheltered. So then he knows what sex is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
He knows how to communicate.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Yura returns, casually remarking that Jinsung's still up. Jinsung, coldly, tells him to head to bed, turning to return to his own room and refusing to face him. Yura grabs him by the arm, forcing Jinsung to look at him, a strange look coming over his face. So we had a strange look before. This is strange look part 3, I guess.
Is it still, like, unsettling?
It's not the cold, strained look anymore. It's that look, the look from when he saw the condom. It's more like that.
Okay.
So same face, but again, yeah. He stares at Jinsung until the younger man demands to be let go. And then it's like a switch flips, and a sly smile crosses Yura's face. Next thing you know, he's full of riz and asking for forgiveness with his mouth, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god, this is a total Splinter situation. It's another personality.
Yeah, like it's legitimately the let me lick your mouth until I can get in there kind of moment.
Gross, this is nothing for me. I hate saliva.
Fair. And then they're definitely making out, like have hands on each other's necks, and are like just going at it like the Predator. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
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 The next morning, Jinsung awakes to the sight of Yura's back as he sits on the edge of the bed. They're in Jinsung's room, and they are both, thankfully, fully dressed in their pajamas. But Yura seems stiff and contemplative. Almost haunted, actually. Which I do have a picture of, just again, the paneling on this, the framing on this, of, Yura kind of cast in the daylight, and seems miserable before you can even see his face. He seems like there's something going on. Yeah.
Dude, now I feel bad for Yura. He has no idea what's going on. This is a total personality thing. He's got a splintered off other side or something.
And then this is like them with the part I'm about to talk to you about. Yura tentatively asks if he did anything to Jinsung last night, since they woke up in bed together. Jinsung's confused. They just slept together, just like they did the other night.
Does he mean sex?
So at this point, he does do the thing that we're used to. It's like where you said, we slept together, but you're not sure if it means we slept next to each other in bed or if we fucked. So he uses an ambiguous term to describe what they did last night. So Yura does think, oh, we just slept in bed next to each other. Except they didn't, or so says Yura. They've never slept in the same bed before. But he was so drunk last night that he doesn't even remember getting home. So this was an accident, and he's very sorry. This must have been very frightening for Jinsung.
Oh, you know what's frightening? Someone apologizing for something that wasn't scary and now it is, you know? Mm-hmm. That's good writing there.
Again, the framing for this too. All the framing for this just seems such extreme angle and such weird lighting that makes you feel even more uncomfortable. Nothing, like, it's scary in the moment for the characters. It shouldn't be that scary for you, but it's kind of scary for you.
No, it's scary.
If you're Jinsung, you gotta be upset. And he definitely is. He forlornly asked about 2 nights before, the night they first dick down. That strange look from the night before appears on Yura's face, as he makes it clear that he has no idea what Jinsung's talking about. Yeah, there's that strange face. So the strange face repeats multiple times, but he's like...
Less scary and more blank, so, like, yeah, something's up.
Something is definitely up. Which brings us back to the present Jinsung and his present dilemma of getting reamed by a man who doesn't even know he's doing the reaming. The situation is giving Tuxedo Mask, but really horny.
Damn. Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon fan fiction, am I right?
Like, I have questions for the author. I need to ask her some things.
You know there's some nasty moonlight night and you Sailor Moon fucking out there. You know there is.
It's giving that. So, like, again, reiterating, this is, like, really hot, but I'm also scared.
How's Jinsung doing? Is he, like, figuring out that this guy doesn't know and is just like, what do I do?
This is what we're getting into now.
So now we're getting into his dealing with it.
Yeah, because now at this point, they have had sex several times. Jinsung he's starting to pay attention to the times when Yura has said, like, oh, you don't want to let him know, or is it because I'm not him? He's starting to pick up on this. Because originally, when it's like, you don't want to wake him,
it's like, what are you talking about?
You're getting your pants pulled off by the person you've been in love with for years. You're not paying attention to shit coming out of his mouth.
I don't blame him for missing anything. You could have lived twice, and I think you'd still miss this
Exactly, because you're just like, it's happening.
This isn't about being young or old here. This is a real fucky-wucky situation. Mm-hmm. You got me saying it now.
You're welcome. Jinsung meets up with Hyunmin after class, looking quite obviously burdened by something. And Goodmen, again, has been concerned, so he's compelled to ask, just what the heck is going on?
And Hyunmin is his friend.
Yeah. That's when it looks like Joe from Digimon.
Right. Joe from Digimon. Sorry, I renamed him in my head.
It's fine. Jinsung explains that he knows some people that are having a fucky-wucky in their relationship, and that the 2 people in said relationship are definitely not him and Yura.
Oh god, he's doing that thing.
But how would these theoretical made-up folks fix their problems?
Oh my god, that thing. I know someone.
Scroll.
Jesus. I love that. I love that he's using that, though. Oh, it's so funny.
He's a little baby. Hyunmin isn't an idiot and immediately calls Jinsung out. But if it's an issue between Jinsung and Yura, couldn't it just be fixed with talking?
Hey, points to this man. Y'all should have been talking from the beginning. Though now it might be hard because how the fuck do you... Mm-hmm. Like, unless Jinsung saves the semen in his ass, I don't know how he's going to prove to Yura what's up.
I mean, to be fair, his room was gross at the beginning. He could have shown that to him. He could have left it and then showed him. I guess still it would be then Yura
who
thinking...
came in here.
Right. Whatever.
Like, it's complicated, but, like, also you should talk. You should really talk.
But they're so close that talking it out should come naturally, right? These 2 should be able to talk it out, is what Hyunmin's thinking. And I'm thinking, yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. But Jinsung remembers a time when his romantic feelings were at their peak, and Yura pushed him away. He doesn't want to return to that time, and since his feelings were the cause of Yura's discomfort, he doesn't want to fuck it up this time. I actually get where he's coming from, but Yura's fingered his asshole like 3 times in the last week, so
yeah,
I think it's time to just talk.
I saw the condom litter and tissue litter all over your room. My god, dude. Y'all went through a box and y'all weren't playing, you know?
Yeah. I will say, like, you don't get the full flashback for this. You get, like, little scenes from it a couple times before they give you the full flashback. Jinsung is worried because when he was 14 and Yura had, like, gone off to college, he, like, kept trying to come visit him and stuff like that. And he came to visit him at one point, and it was, like, I think a school night or something. He came all the way out to this far-flung city to visit him, and it was like, hey, Yura, young, blah, blah, blah. And then Yura was, like, extremely stern with him, was like, you gotta go home, you're too young to be out here. And he was so cold to Jinsung in that moment that even the people around Yura, like his college buddies, were like, dude, that's pretty harsh. You should at least, like, take him home or blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, you need to go home, Jinsung. And prior to that, joined at the hip.
Mm.
And so he goes off to college, and then he's suddenly acting super cold with Jinsung. So Jinsung's like, obviously the issue was he knew my feelings, because I was too obvious. Even I can look back now and realize I was too obvious as a teen. That's what made him uncomfortable. Get where he's coming from. Again, I really don't doubt Jinsung's feelings and his logic, because it makes sense.
This is actually all very rational, and this is even rational as to why they're not talking. Because Yura could even regret how he handled that situation. So, like, this is all very rational.
You are so close, and yet also miles away at the same time. But that's what I liked about this comic, is you're that's a very close interpretation, and you're also still miles away. That's great.
Look, I didn't see a Splinter situation coming out of, left field here, so...
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, Hyun Min reminds Jinsung that he always regretted not being honest at that time, which is enough to get him to at least consider confessing. So he's like, you before regretted that you didn't just tell him. Now you should do something.
Mm-hmm.
So that evening, Jinsung is actively contemplating whether or not to spill his guts and how, specifically, to spill them. He really doesn't want Yura to distance himself again. And maybe if he gets a clear rejection, he can start to get over his Hyung. Which, again, crazy. He fucked your butt. Fine.
But, I'm so conflicted. I'm just as confused as him now. Because, the problem is now you have this idea that Yura doesn't know what's going on, but there's a small part of him that is getting flipped and still fucking you for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's all very confusing.
Mm-hmm. Jinsung's thoughts are interrupted by the object of his desires walking into his room. It's hella late, making this behavior wildly out of character for Yura. Because normally Yura's the type to be like, well, you're in bed and you're asleep and I'm not going to disturb you. You need your, young person sleep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Jinsung closes his eyes and pretends to be asleep. Which might have worked if he, 1, hadn't tried this ploy for a while, and 2, if he were dealing with a normal Yura. Yura sits on the edge of the bed, twists his torso to hover over Jinsung's, and whispers directly in his ear, "Why are you ignoring me?"
I'm uncomfortable.
Correct.
This is a good horror movie setup.
Jinsung can't even stutter out an answer as a mix of nervousness and horny floods his body.
Oh, shit. That is right. I forgot, because that is also at play.
It's so real.
It's so real. It's like, oh, damn, you're spooky, but also, hey. I'm so scared, but maybe my nipple's slipping a little.
Jinsung is all of this, truthfully.
God, Jinsung, I get you, homie.
What? Do you not want to do it tonight? But you like it, don't you?
God, it's like you've been found out that you've been fucking a vampire. The vampire still wants to fuck that hole, but now you're scared because he's a vampire.
A little bit. Yura says that last bit, making the creepiest face he can muster. A face he's never once shown to Jinsung, and I wish he would put it back.
You know what's also funny about this?
Mm-hmm.
The reason this is so scary is because this has no fantasy elements.
No.
That's why this is so scary. It's a normal dude who goes to work, who goes to school, and sometimes he comes home and he fucks your butt and he doesn't remember. And it's so scary.
The thing that kept me in this is that it wasn't fantasy, because I thought they were going to handle a lot of these elements in a kind of wishy-washy, pop-sci kind of way, and they did not.
Yeah.
So this is why I kept in. But yeah, this is the face that Yura makes.
Put it back! No, you were right! Put it back! Put it back! Return it! Return it!
Yeah.
No! This is worse! I don't want to be here!
Yeah, I know. This
Weirdly,
is so
this just adds a hole to it, though. I'm so scared I want to give it another hole.
Because you have to. He's coming for you in your
Stop!
dreams.
Stop, or I'm going to make you turn on cartoons.
Oh, man. Jinsung pushes Yura back, demanding to know who exactly is in front of him, because no way in hell is it his Hyung. Yura pulls back, his face going blank, but still not looking quite right. He responds, "You're Hyung, of course," as he stares down at Jinsung. It just so Keelz that it is poor Jinsung, like, laid back on his bed, kind of splayed out, looking up at Yura, and you see Yura from behind. He's just kind of looming over Jinsung.
He's haunted. He's a ghost.
Yeah. So Jinsung looks up in shock as he realizes this is not his Hyun. This isn't Yura.
No, he ain't.
He says as much to the man looming over him. It, unfortunately, doesn't faze fake Yura at all. Fake Yura just shushes Jinsung, encouraging him to be quiet so that he won't wake the real Yura. Because Yura's comfortably asleep in his mind palace, and it'd be a shame to wake him. Especially since Jinsung had to have known he wasn't the real Yura the whole time.
No, bitch. No fake Yura, you mean twisty bastard.
Because he says Yura only treats him like a little brother after all, but Jinsung's super into him.
God.
Mm-hmm. Jinsung punches Yura, which is reasonable. But it does nothing to solve the current actual problem. Fake Yura smirks in response, because what's going to happen when real Yura wakes up and sees he's got a mysterious bruise on his cheek?
Oh, well, that's what.
The person Jinsung actually loves is going to be punished in the end.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
So, fake Yura...
I'd fail in a horror situation. I wouldn't make it. We know this.
So, fake Yura makes Jinsung a deal. He'll cover for Jinsung this time, and continue covering up their sexual escapades as long as Jinsung keeps having sex with him. Because really, they both have something the other wants.
Jinsung has to sleep, homie. You've been fucking him every night.
They both have something the other wants, even if Jinsung's want is more complicated. After this insane ultimatum, all of the crassness and mischief abruptly leaves Yura's body, and he leans onto the bed and reaches forward to plant a tender kiss on Jinsung's forehead. Almost like an apology or something to blunt the sharpness of his previous words. It's like all the spite left his body, and what was left is a facsimile of the Hyung Jinsung's familiar with. Fake Yura tells Jinsung not to think too hard about the situation they're in, and then exits the room, leaving Jinsung with the heaviness of what's going
situation.
on.
Yeah. Oh my god, is there a third splinter? Like, is it 3 dudes in this one body?
No, but it's just that you're already, again, getting more details of like, okay, it seems like there's another personality. This is the point where you're like, there's gotta be...
There's another personality.
Or something weird's going on, because...
Dang.
He sees himself as different. He seems to know who Jinsung is. He seems to know all the details about who we're considering like real Yura versus fake Yura and all that stuff. And then there's that moment of like, hey, I'm going to be fucky with you. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Weird. Because the tender kiss doesn't make me more comforted. It makes me more nervous and confused. Jinsung is resilient though. He's had to be since he was cruelly orphaned as a high school senior. So he turns his focus to researching what the hell is going on with Yura.
Are you just gonna brush past that orphan thing?
I will explain more in detail. Yeah, his parents died when he was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And this is how he's come to live with Yura. I think I mentioned a little bit more later too as well, but...
Okay, I just see a whole bunch of dialogue on your script that's got nothing about this orphaning situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's an orphan. His other family members were not too keen on taking care of him, or they lived like really far away, and he's a senior in high school, and they're like, well, what are we going to do with a senior in high school?
Oh my god.
And so he is even kind of less equipped for certain things because he's only 20. His parents died like not even a full 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So there's a lot going on in his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is even explaining more why he's very guarded about giving his, emotions away.
All of this makes sense. All this makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, days later, he's hanging in the library amongst a pile of psychology books, clearly trying to find a shred of information about other personalities. He's interrupted by the appearance of Hyun-min, who razzes him about suddenly becoming so studious. But seriously, what's with the psychology books? Jinsung dodges the question, something he is proving to be quite good at. Fine by Hyun-min, but when is Jinsung gonna go home? Is it another night of crashing at Hyun-min's, or is he going to finally work out whatever's going on between him and Yura? So Jinsung has not been home in days. They had this weird conversation. He fucked up. He's been staying with Hyun-min. He's not ready to deal with it.
What do you do? Like, this is so scary. Again, this is so scary. Like, the person you love is fucking you, but they are not the person you love when they're fucking you. They don't know they're doing it. This is so upsetting. And then, of course, you don't want to tell anybody it's happening. It sounds crazy. This is crazy. This poor dude.
Yeah. And so I have here that, like, Jinsung is resilient, but he's also a capital C coward. That is very much from the perspective of Hyunmin, who's like, this shouldn't be this big of a deal. Because he doesn't know the full story.
Right.
So he's just like,
if
you're
he
being
knew the full
kind of
story,
a coward.
he'd be like, get out! Run!
Like, you're being kind of a coward. You should do something. And I'm like, yes, but also.
But you don't know the full fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Hyunmin's a man. Let me just tell you.
Hyunmin, yeah.
Hyunmin. Yeah, sorry. Hyunmin. What I mean by that, Hyunmin is a typical man. Because he sees all these psychology books and this stressed out guy, and he's like, you just got silly problems with your friend. A girl would have been like, who hit you? What's going on? What did he say? Did his mom do something to him? Is that affecting your relation? A girl would have read for filth that something was wrong.
So the other thing about Hyunmin, though, is he's known Jinsung and Yura since he and Jinsung were in elementary school. And so he's seen their relationship, so he's also like, well, it can't be that bad. You guys are perfect.
Doesn't matter. Let me just tell you. A girl's like, you've been staying at my house lately. Oh, you got a lot of psychology books? What's wrong? What'd he do? That's what would happen.
Yeah, Hyunmin is thinking more like, oh, you guys had your first big boy argument.
Again, he's a man.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your surroundings.
He's also got other stuff going on.
I genuinely mean this. Men are not taught to pay attention to their surroundings like girls are. Because girls are expected to comfort you and deal with this. And girls are also expected to be like, make sure you clock the 20 guys at that house party so you don't get roofied.
Yeah. And I will say, Hyunmin does come off it because Jinsung starts looking really upset. He gets to the point of tears.
Yeah,
and then Hyunmin's like, oh, this is really serious. You can stay as long as you want. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, you dumb idiot. Oh. Uh-oh, new panel.
Yeah, wait.
Bakugo looks scary.
But yeah, he does take Jinsung seriously. He is a good friend, but he's just not. He's missing the context here.
Yeah,
sure.
He's just negging him like a bro would do. Like, hey, come on, you got to go do this thing. Blah, blah, blah.
He's really trying to encourage him to solve it because he knows how upset he is.
I know. Like, I get it, but I'm also like, I'm watching a horror movie right now, and I'm like, you dumb bitch, you don't know shit.
So Jinsung smooths over his continued avoidance of his big situation by bribing Hyunmin with food. And they head on to Hyunmin's apartment. Because Hyunmin is easily driven by food, and Jinsung's a good cook, so he's like, you can stay as long as you want, and I know you're upset, it's fine.
Alright.
Unbeknownst to them, Yura is in an alleyway, watching and listening to every word, his face displaying an unknown emotion.
Nope. I saw the face, you don't need to show me again. You don't need to show me again. Mr. Creeper been creeping. Run the fuck away.
So Jinsung's little avoidance maneuver falls apart the next morning. Thursday, when Yura shows up to Hyunmin's apartment to pick him up for class. Because they always commute to class together on Thursdays. And silly little Jinsung didn't bother to check his text messages. So Jinsung is uncomfortable because he's not 100% certain which Yura he's dealing with. Which one was somehow able to find him at his friend's house.
Yeah.
But Yura seems to be acting like himself. A smart, considerate, talented, and kind Hyung. Because he's even like, oh, since I'm here, Hyunmin, you need to go to school today too? Jump in, boys, I'll take us both in our car. Super normal Yura kind of actions.
No, he's gonna wreck the car and kill Hyunmin. I don't know, it's just gonna take a terrible...
It's not killing stalking.
Killing stalking is different than this. This is a different type of horror. This is Splinter. This is Splinter.
Nobody gets murdered. There's no murder. There's no crime.
There might be attempted crime.
No, there's no crime in this.
Alright. I don't know. I'm scared.
The boys head off to school together with Hyunmin in tow. Yura offers to tutor the boys together that evening because, again, he's the perfect Hyung.
He's gonna drug Hyunmin. He's gonna drug Hyunmin and tell Jin Young, don't you ever leave me again. I'll kill him next time. Like, I'm spooked.
Yeah. This, of course, means Jinsung has to go home and can't avoid Yura any longer. So there's a little bit of 4D chess, but it's not the point you're thinking. Luckily, the evening is normal. The boys get the tutoring they needed, and even when Hyunmin leaves, things are still normal. Mostly. Jinsung is extra tense. He can't yet determine which Hyung is which, or the pattern to their appearances, so even a casual shoulder squeeze feels like a threat.
I'm threatened. I'm with you, Jinsung. Let's run.
Yeah, so he showed up to
Yeah.
Min's house.
No, it's also nope. Get off this creepy face.
And then he's like, I'm offering to help you guys with your schoolwork.
No, I'm so creeped out, and he is so unsettling. Stop showing it to me. I'm done. He's 12 out of 10. He sucks.
And then here's the little shoulder squeeze that should feel
Nothing
normal.
about this is okay. The art of this is very impressive. The lighting is especially impressive. I'm creeped out, son. It's creepy.
Yeah.
I could go panel for panel telling you why the lighting and shadow here is making me upset. It's a good art. It's a good story. Want to tap out. Get me out. Get me out.
Things get to remain normal for a whole 24 hours before Jinsung re-enters his own personal horny hell. He'd become confident that Yura was back to his usual self, but realizes just how wrong he is when Yura feels him up while commenting on how skinny he is.
Nope.
Like, squeezes his chest and runs his hand up his back and side while telling Jinsung he needs to eat more.
Nope. It's sexy, scary time. No.
So shoulder squeeze was fine, but then they do get into more stuff later. Jinsung quickly pulls away, claiming he needs to take a phone call, but Yura is right behind him.
I hate this. I'll kill you.
He grasps Jinsung's phone and asks him point blank why he's answering a phone that didn't ring. This dissolves into an intense moment where fake Yura asks him important questions.
I've got a fight and flight response happening at the same time. Be careful if you touch me. I might hit. I'm so spooked.
So Yura asks, is it a problem when he acts like the real Yura? Does it make Jinsung confused? Or, he asks as he draws Jinsung's body close, does he feel guilty for still wanting fake Yura, even as he takes advantage of real Yura's body?
Oh my fucking god.
It's real fucky ducky hours.
It's horror horny, and I like it, but I'm very scared.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also dark. We do this at nighttime. That's why I'm being a pussy right now. It's scary hours o'clock. Jesus. Where's the sun?
They absolutely smash again, because despite how conflicted Jinsung feels, he can't stop either. This leads to days upon days of Jinsung engaging in a mostly sexual relationship by night with a man that he knows and loves, in theory.
Fuck.
Meanwhile, Yura is losing sleep.
Yeah.
He's exhausted every day despite going to sleep on time, to the point that his friends, colleagues, and even his professors have noticed.
Yeah, because this can't last. It's so freaky.
He's feeling distant, even from himself, and most importantly, from Jinsung. His precious little buddy seems to be avoiding him too. Even worse, his lack of sleep has led to him making a major mistake. He, in a sleep-addled state, entered Jinsung's room and got in bed with him, a scenario that is too dangerous to ignore.
Now, is he still stuck on the first time, or has he thought this has happened more than once?
It's happened again.
Okay, so he's like, oh shit, it's happening more than once. Okay.
Yeah, so I will also say, the sex that they're having at this time starts to get less scary and more normal, and it starts to just look like, oh, they're just horny for each other kind of thing.
I mean, again, you can tell that Jinsung is really into him, and while Yura's scary right now, Yura is also clearly into him. There's something going on there. I don't know why he's disconnected with the feeling so hard that he won't do it. Mm-hmm. I actually have a theory about that, but I don't know if I should say it, because I bet I'm right on the money.
Editing Chuck here. She was, indeed, right on the money. So I cut it out. But Yura does think that the fact that he woke up in bed next to Jinsung, that is too dangerous to ignore. This is a really dodgy situation. Why danger, you say? What's so dangerous about sleeping next to someone you're incredibly close to? I don't know. I slept next to my bestie for years and we're just fine.
We're married.
Doesn't happen to everyone.
Did we Stockholm each other?
And then it paid for you. Yura had thought that he put these strange feelings behind him years ago. He purposely ran away to a college far from his hometown so that he would have an excuse to not see Jinsung as often. He thought years away would dampen his feelings and allow him to stay a perfect, healthy, non-sexual fixture in Jinsung's life. Sure, he might have gone and Icarused himself by taking Jinsung into his home, but the poor boy was left orphaned. What else could he have done? And so here I have my note, and I'm going to show you chapter 6, 7, and then chapter 11. And I don't... But yeah, so you're absolutely right. Yura is afraid of being into Jinsung.
Yeah. Like, again, dealing with loss messes with you. Because I'm assuming he was also friends with Yura's parents, you know? Like, I was definitely not friends, but I definitely knew the kids' parents that I babysat for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had a good relationship. One of respect, admiration, all that stuff.
Yeah, and that is absolutely the thing, too, is Yura was good friends with Jinsung's parents.
Yeah.
They were the type to be like, well, you don't have to hang out with him. He's just bothering you. He's so young, and you're a young man, and blah, 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 and he's still
right. And, like,
showing up all
those
the
type
time.
of relationships happen. I knew all the kids in my neighborhood because I babysit them all. And so, therefore, I knew all their parents. And that was just a cool thing.
Oh, yeah, I guess I want to show you chapter 6 for some reason.
I don't know why. That's not normal.
I think when this is where he's, like, questioning if this shoulder situation is
normal.
chill. And, you know, kind of what he's doing with it. Like, Jinsung's getting worse with his crush as this is going on for obvious reasons.
Fuck his life. He's in a very hard situation.
Yeah, fuck his baka life. I also just think Jinsung's super cute. He's got kind of pro-tag boy face.
He does. They're both very cute. Oh, everything is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I have the chills. And what sucks is it's like, they're also a little horny.
Yeah!
I'm so scared.
You get the horny chills.
I'm so scared, but I'm also like, okay.
Yeah, every part of this seems like, oh, poor Jinsung, and then you're like, actually,
good
for him.
I'm looking at the comic now. He's really not putting up much of a resistance. And, like, when he does, Yura does stop, but then he does try to, like, convince him. Like, hey, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And he's really not. Because he's in love with this guy, and he wants something, but it's also, like, freaking him out.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But all the photography is, like, drawn really well
as
well. Yeah.
Your boy.
Mm-hmm. I have to say that the way the sex is drawn is really good.
It's drawn very well. It's very, like, everything about this is provocative, but it's also, like, there are times when it's scary. And not scary because you're, like, feeling like it's assault. You're scared because you're, like, the lighting is telling you something else is going on here.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to show you, like, their sex is never really non-emotional.
It's very emotional.
Like, as this fake Yura keeps saying, like, no, it's not a big deal. I just want sex or whatever.
Everything is kind of, and everything is kind of tinted purple and magenta, which is upsetting. It's not red, which is alarm, but it's close enough to red to where you're like, I'm uncertain.
Oh, yeah. I also wanted to show that, like, Jinsung gets to a point where he is also trying to keep the masquerade up that, like, with his real Kyung, like, oh, that we're not fucking. And so he starts putting down, like, rules and stuff, like, well, you can't stay in my bed overnight, you can't do some of these other things overnight, you can't, like, leave hickeys in weird places, I can't leave marks on you, because then he'll figure it out, kind of thing.
He probably wants to try and figure out a way to stop this so things with Yura can get better. Mm-hmm. And he probably wants to protect Yura from this, because he's thinking he's taking advantage of him.
Yeah, and then there's this scene where they bone one time, post-boning, post-coitus, where Jinsung is trying to be like, well, we have to do this a specific way, and this fake Yura or whatever, it's like, you got the wrong idea, I'm not that nice of a person, I'll reveal everything to him if I want to. And so there's this level of, like, threat of, like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want and I don't need you. Mm-hmm. But every time that seems to be the case, there also seems to be this level of, like, but I care so much about you. So the words coming out of his mouth will be fuck to shit, but his facial expressions and the way that he's holding Jinsung are very much the opposite.
Yeah. Like, I'm looking, I'm seeing, I'm experiencing. Wow. Yeah, no, this would be a good movie or show to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very interesting.
And then I wanted to show you pieces of Chapter 11 for a couple reasons. One,
because he's a baby.
Baby Jinsung. And Chapter 11 is specifically where they start to explain how long Jinsung and Yura have known each other. But the part that I liked is it does show you straight up just the beginning of their relationship where Jinsung is like a little kid. He's waiting at his parents' door to, like, be let in, but I don't think anybody's home. Yura lives next to him and he's like, hey, kiddo, you good? I'm not talking to strangers. Are you sure?
Yeah, I get it.
Specifically, this flashback that I'm showing you, it does just show Jinsung is super young the first time they met. Jinsung's giving a little attitude about, like, you're offering me a popsicle on this hot day, but why would I eat off of the popsicle you're already eating off of? So just showing him being, like, adorably bratty.
Being a cute kid and being cautious.
But then it shifts over to where they're older, and Yura's in high school, and Jinsung is still in middle school, like very, very early middle school at this point, I believe. And then, again, it's another hot day, they're eating popsicles together, and Yura keeps looking at him and is like, there's obviously something a little bit different there, where he's still, like, a very affectionate towards him. Mm-hmm. And then it shifts over to where suddenly Jinsung is no longer he's no longer, like, a tween, almost teen. And he then imagines him as, like, an adult. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I actually get that freaky disconnect when you realize that, like, a person you knew who's younger than you is suddenly grown up.
Yes.
And, like, you think of them grown up, and it's weird. Like, again, my little neighbor friend was never romantically interested in him. Thought he was, like, passively attractive when I saw him years later. I remember being startled and being like, wow, he grew up.
Yeah.
Just, it's freaky. It's freaky when you have that first moment as a young person.
Yeah, and
I bet it's scarier for this guy because he got a crush on him.
Yeah, he essentially started developing a crush that wasn't coming towards anything, and his brain is totally focused on Jinsung being a legal adult and being, like, old enough for like certain things or whatever, but he's still having these weird dreams and weird feelings, but he's like, I love the person, but as he gets older, I'm getting attracted to him. I feel bad for you, truthfully.
It's freaking him out, because, like, we are the same age. Like, we're a year apart.
Yeah.
Like, but we are the same age.
We're 6 months apart.
Yeah, 6 months apart. But, you know, a grade apart.
Yes, yeah.
But, like, we grew up together, and you were my best friend, my childhood friend, and then one day you became the love of my life, but that felt normal. We were in the same age bracket. I can't imagine having a little buddy and then you falling for them. Mm-hmm. I feel like you'd feel so guilty.
Mm-hmm. And herein lies the issue. You've got two men helplessly in love and lust with each other, but they're too afraid of each other and themselves to bite the bullet and just confess. So a semi-new challenger enters the ring to get these fuckers straight or die trying.
Okay, a new person enters.
Well, the new person is technically new person. It's 2 Yuras. You got 1 Yura, you got Jinsung, then you got other Yura. That's the third challenger.
Oh, so he's the third challenger.
Yeah,
okay.
that's the other challenger. And then, of course, Yura's cousin also eventually shows up to the fight, but he gets KO'd by Hyunmin.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, there's no way...
A new challenger enters. The nerd takes you out.
Yeah, Yura's cousin shows up. His name is J-Pill. J-Pill shows up later
what a
on.
Name. J-Pill.
J-Pill.
Because my brain goes, oh, you're a pill, aren't you?
He is, to be honest. Like, I know that's not what it means in Korean, but I was like, you're a little bit of a pill, aren't you?
Yeah.
He and Yura are, like, nemesis with each other.
Oh, God.
But he also gives a lot of background to kind of who Yura is. And then he is useful because he's trying to be a psychologist.
Okay.
And so Yura is actually the one that invites him. Like, I can't cover all the way up to that point because this series is both mostly porn, but also a weirdly dense plot at the same time. So it would take me hours to get there. But Yura actually contacts J-Pill and is like, hey, I think there's something weird going on. Because Yura, around this time, starts figuring out that there's something going on with him, too. And he asks J-Pill to, like, watch him to see, like, if he can notice that Yura's doing anything strange or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so J-Pill gets involved in that sense of, like, I have some expertise, I'm studying this, maybe I know something. So he is there for a reason, but, you know.
Yeah, excuse me.
Then he gets all messed up with Hyunmin instead, so, yeah.
Does he get messed up with Hyunmin as they become a secondary couple?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has it coming.
All right.
Yeah, so now we know for sure there's 2 personalities at least, and Jinsung and Yura are both trying to solve the problem from opposite sides of the situation, and all the messes that come with that.
I do wish it would have been a ghost. Like, I know this wasn't fantasy or sci-fi related, it at least didn't give me the vibe that it was. But a ghost possession thing seems pretty cool, too. Ghost possession also somewhat feels chiller than this. This is different.
Yeah, because you can get rid of the ghost.
Yeah, what do you do? I don't know what you do about splinters or DID situations, you know?
Yeah, well, they handle it.
Yeah.
So let's jump into these characters. First we have Jinsung, who is our main character, and a 20/21-year-old college student living with his favorite person. He's cute and earnest and is incredibly altruistic. He'll help anybody given the opportunity, and he's pretty average when it comes to his achievements, but he's no stranger to working hard. He's living with Yura due to the death of his parent, and is both exactly what he needed and the worst situation he could have been put in. He's smitten with Yura and horny enough to make me proud. Because, sorry, full respect for, this is such a fucky situation. I'm so scared. My dick's hard. Hey, you want to give me a minute?
Like, no joke. This is so scary. It's also a little sexy. Like, that's the struggle here.
Full
that
respect.
would be my struggle.
Yeah, full respect for him. Yura is the ultimate hyung and Jinsung's roommate and guardian. He's good at literally everything. Incredibly smart, talented, tall, everything. He's seemingly perfect, but he also has a less than nice side to him, one he is actively pushing away. He has a history of being a bastard, though usually only to those that deserve it. He is actually a decent person, even if he consistently believes otherwise. He's absolutely in love with Jinsung, but petrified of doing anything about it. Because that is one of the main things that J. Pill actually adds to the situation, is he then talks at length about who Yura has been outside of Jinsung's scope of view. Because Jinsung and Goodmen both see Yura as he's perfect and young. But Yura is also a bit of a bastard and has done some bastard stuff to people. And generally when you get the full story, you're like, oh, well, that was kind of deserved. He at one point beat the fuck out of some guys for picking on Jinsung, who was 5th or 6th grade. They picked on him, and they're high schoolers, and he beat the fuck out of him. Yeah. And he went too far and scared Jinsung, but it's also but you picked on a child.
You picked on a baby.
So weird for that.
Look, we've known people who are one way with someone and different with someone else. And that doesn't necessarily mean anyone's tricking anybody. It just is the side you bring out of people.
It's code switching.
Yeah.
That being said, sometimes you code switch too hard.
Ooh. Is he code switching too hard?
That is the best way I can explain it right now without giving too much away. Yeah.
I feel the craziest code switching that I've actually seen was one of my really good friends was super girly and super cute, and then I learned later she sold drugs, and I saw her selling drugs, and she was scary. But then she had this, I'm sweet, I'm super cute. Then she sells drugs, and it's oh.
What I will say too is that it has been well documented that extreme code switching, what a lot of minorities have to do when dealing with very white and or cis male dominated spaces, that sort of code switching
I've
can
heard
give
of
you a lot of stress.
I've heard of people of color saying I have a white voice for customer service.
Yeah, and that makes your job significantly more stressful. There's research saying that code switching is really, really hard for autistic people and drains a lot of their social battery even worse than normal. So there's documentation that code switching, while necessary, you don't want to, I'm not going to say fuck my butt in front of my mom. Well,
no, you're not going to say that in front of your mom.
I've said worse things to her in a different context.
Yeah.
But there's certain things I'm not going to say in front of my mom, or I'm not going to say in front of my grandma. That's minor code switching, but I'm still can be myself with them. When you have to do it really extreme, that can cause problems with your psyche over time.
Yeah, and so Yura's been maybe doing it so long that's fucked him up. That's interesting.
So then we have Goodmen, who is Jinsung's ride or die, and also our resident autist. I'm not even joking. He's very capable in his own right, but he tends to look at the world as various problems that can be solved.
Oh, okay. He's on the spectrum. You said autist, and I'm that's a weird way to say artist.
Nope, yeah.
Sorry.
No. He compares various parts of his life to science experiments and is no stranger to testing things on himself for ethics reasons.
Bro. Oh, bro.
He's mastered several things due to temporary obsession, which has helped him pay for his rather bare-bones lifestyle. So they have a League of Legends game in here. He got to master level League of Legends. I don't know what the fucking highest level. Right. But basically the highest level you can get in League of Legends in a very short period of time, within a couple of weeks, basically. And then he was asked to join like a professional league team, did it for a hot minute, and he uses that money to pay for his apartment.
That's cool.
And there's multiple other times he's done something to the point of making a lot of money, and then it's like, cool, well, I'm done with it. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. This is consistent for him.
I get this, because you know how I get obsessed with a phone game, and I have to play it until I beat it, and then I delete it?
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
I understand him too, but he does it better than the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't monetize mine. If I could, if I had the smarts to do that, I would.
Well, and then
just what I do.
His other thing too is you find out at one point that he's been running an experiment to see what going vegetarian can do for you. Well, it's unethical for me to just find a person if I can't like pay them and compensate them and do all the clinical testing. So he tested on himself.
That makes sense, and that's a harmless thing to test on yourself.
Is, but it's that he's willing to do worse to himself.
Yikes, boy.
Love him, but yeah. He's incredibly observant, regularly clocking Jinsung and Yura's lies, and is seen as especially cunning from Keelz's point of view. He's an excellent friend and regularly gives good advice. He ends up fixated on Keelz after being hit with attraction for the first time in his life.
That sounds a little dangerous, but all right.
A little bit dangerous, but also I have to talk about this point because there's no way I can get to it, but he used to be obsessed with a female character from like an H game, and only her. There were plenty of other half-naked women. He's like, I don't care, but only her. And she has like green hair and pale skin, and so he's obsessed with her. And guess who has green hair and pale skin?
The J-Pill.
Yeah.
This is really cringy and funny.
His old obsession like merges with his new obsession. I find it delightful.
This is very cringy and funny.
So then we have J-Pill, who is Yura's cousin and lifelong nemesis. He's incredibly accomplished in his own right and is on his way to becoming a psychiatrist. His insights about mental health are not bad for a student, but his insecurities tend to get in the way of him giving decent advice or just living a comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
He talks a big game, and again, he's not an idiot or undeserving of praise, but he's not at all what he pretends to be.
Okay.
He has an absolutely cringy crush on Jinsung.
Ew.
But he's really not all that bad. Because that's where I felt more uncomfortable, is that J-Pill keeps trying to push the like, hey, you want to spend time? Or hey, you want to come over to my place? And he's like, this will be the opportunity for me to lay him down by the fire. And it's like, Jinsung doesn't give a shit. Can you please stop doing this?
And Jinsung's so busy right now.
But also, it's like, stop fronting, because he likes Jinsung for the wrong reason, too. Which gets explained as it goes on. I will tell you later, but he likes Jinsung for the wrong reason, and so it's like, girl, pull the fuck up.
So it's not a sincere like.
No, it's something else.
All right.
He actually likes being read for filth by Goodmen.
Boy.
He says no, but then he's like, okay.
You got two kinks in this. Horror kink and BDSM kinks, you know?
A little bit. They don't get full into dom sub stuff, but it's dom some flavor.
It's humiliation kink and horror kink.
A little bit, yeah. So, obvious plot point is obvious. Yura is associating at an extremely high degree, and his inner desires are manifesting in fucking Jinsung. And I think this would have been pretty boring if it had stopped at being, ooh, sexy, split personality pounds my butt. Because I know what I said in the summary of fake Yura just wanting sex, but it's pretty clear from his second or third appearance that is not at all the case. Both parts of Yura are obsessed with Jinsung and love him dearly and want his full attention.
Mm-hmm.
They are in active competition with one another, which is unsurprising, but neither one of them is made out to be a villain. They're just really two pieces of the same puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also feel like I think I've read something like this in Japanese where it was like the other personality was like the villain and like trying to like fuck with things.
I don't like those types.
It's based on the old ideas about dissociation and dissociative identity disorder.
It's based off Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde a little bit.
And that too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the research about DID is fairly new in the grand human consciousness, or we're having to go back and look at things and reevaluate them. Because of course, like, multiple personality disorder was mostly based off of like one patient, and it was like not true and blah blah blah. So the current breadth of information that we have is a lot more recent and looking at it a different way, and I will say that this comic tries to focus more on the new research that we have to people's like actual like lived experiences and stuff.
I really like that. Like, I appreciate someone going that far into like the research of their story, Because, like, if I was going to tackle a subject like this, I would hope to have some realness in the subject.
Yeah, because otherwise it just feels like this managed not to feel trite or, like, voyeuristic.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because, like, let me tell you, I have epilepsy, right? And I have found a story that, like, made epilepsy sexy.
Yeah.
The person had a seizure and they put them in the tub to help them calm down. Do not fucking move someone having a seizure. Don't. If you see someone having a seizure, you should probably call 911. And if you do touch them, you roll them on their side. Do not do anything else. Do not hold them down. And if you touch someone having a seizure, be prepared that you might get hit. Because depending on what seizure they have, they could hurt you.
Also, if you put them in the tub, they can just drown. They can just have a seizure in the tub and drown.
And like, no, I'm telling you, like, I was so offended as someone with epilepsy because I'm like, my ass would die.
Yeah.
My ass would die because, like, my seizures, like, I would pass out and, like, you know, seize.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, people who, like, hurt other people because some epileptic people will get crazy strength.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll hurt themselves, they'll hurt other people. I've hurt myself before.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's fine. But I don't want to hurt someone else.
Yeah.
And so, like, the whole point is, like, he puts this person in the tub, and the panel is going down, like, her body, because she's in a sheer dress now. And she's, like, her legs are sliding against each other provocatively. And that's the seizure. Yeah. And he's falling in love with her while she's having a seizure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ow.
And she gets with this man.
Oh, God.
It's awful.
Oh, I need to take a shower.
It's awful. It's awful.
Okay.
It's really awful. I hate it. It's gross.
Oh, God.
It's gross. So I appreciate seeing something that's they're trying to be like, let's be real about this.
Yeah. So that's even what I have, like, you know, I appreciate the way that yours dissociative disorder was handled in general, because he reports losing time, losing sleep, feeling out of sorts and disconnected. These are all things that you can feel when you're just having regular dissociation without the added, got a splinter in my personality or whatever.
Because, like, there are abused kids who disassociated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, being abused. And then there's, like, soldiers who disassociate what
Girl,
they go through.
I disassociate, like, several times a year. For fun. And for fun and profit. Not really. For trauma. But whatever.
For trauma. Like, but I think, like, I hate to say this, but I feel like a lot of people have had a disassociative moment. 2020 really rung us.
Every person probably does at some point in time, but then you hit the special kind, like I have.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, he has dreams sometimes that are, like, hazy versions of what's going on in his real life. So he's obviously still in his body, but it's complicated. You're kind of almost tricking yourself or pulling yourself away from the thing that you're afraid of or that you're traumatized by or triggered by so that you don't have to deal with it. But it's still obviously you. And so it really feels like Goodmen studied up on how to keep things medically accurate while maintaining an interesting story. And even Yura's reason for falling into the D-hole is entirely unique to his life. His biggest catalyst is considering himself a pervert, but it's not just a single large outward trauma. It's multiple small events where he finds himself to be dangerous that eventually lead to him mentally checking out.
Man.
And that's just how it be sometimes. Like, my therapist literally said that everyone thinks that PTSD is, like, one big trauma, but especially with a lot of abused kids and people in, like, abusive situations or, like, fucked up work situations, it's multiple small things that then spiral into a big thing that you can't fully process, you can't fully deal with, and so you have to unravel all those small traumas to get at the meat of it and start feeling better and feeling safe. Yura's mental health crisis is terrifying at times too, which, having your brain do a flip on you is scary. There's some scenes in this comic that are staged like they're straight out of a thriller, and it's because Yura's technically a stranger in those scenes. Or there's this huge amount of tension because Jinsung is simultaneously petrified and the horniest he's ever been. It's also why I admire Jinsung, because sometimes you just gotta fuck the fear out of yourself.
I'm so scared. Let's fuck.
You know, he's meeting the thing that he's afraid of, and he's conquering it with his hole.
That's the meaning of hole chat.
I really thought this was gonna be more like 10 count, where I was screaming into my boobs every 5 minutes as a therapist male lead continued to do random bullshit to help the main character. But it wasn't, and I'm thankful for that. Also, aside, if you want me to cover 10 count, pay me. Because I'm not doing it for free. The only person who could really solve Yura's problems was Yura himself. With assistance from Jinsung, of course, but it was a thing he had to actively try and rectify on his own, not just, coming from some outside source.
Mm-hmm.
And Yura reconciled with his little traumas and figured his shit out, and it was great, and is the best way we know how to actually minimize dissociation.
Mm-hmm.
Is just meeting your shit head on and trying to unravel, and he actually takes the time to do that.
Right.
Not to say that Jinsung didn't have his own journey through all of this. Like, the Yura shit made him come to terms with his own insecurities and negative feelings associated with their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He's called a coward at certain times, but the rejection he felt from Yura before is actually a decent reason to be so gun-shy in the present.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a middle schooler when all this went down. And y'all can remember being a tween/young teen and how much that sucked.
Yeah, because it was middle school when he was a really blatantly obvious crushing, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucks. Everyone does something in middle school that makes you go, no.
Yeah. And it's hard to regain confidence when you're on the heels of a personal tragedy and don't want to mess up a good thing, and the person you're in a situation with is so goddamn hard to read.
Yeah.
And, honestly, Yura is the real coward here. So...
It feels mean to say, but, if he just kind of talked some of this shit out with a psychiatrist, with a therapist, or with Jinsung...
Yes, because,
it could have not gone this far.
This dovetails nicely into the next part. There's not a huge overarching theme in this one. It's mostly just dramatic and pornographic fun. But communication is definitely the thing that all these motherfuckers should be having.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, communicating difficult things. Because you can feel close to someone all you want, but if you can't have a tough, honest conversation with them, you are actually miles apart. And all these bitches have to learn that. Because Yura and Jinsung are the obvious two, but they wouldn't have been fucking around with two Yuras if either one of them could have just said, hey, can we talk about sex and relationships real quick? Or, I trust you implicitly no matter what you do. Because if Yura had really just at any point said, I need to discuss this with Jinsung, he's an adult now, we can have an adult conversation, this would have been different. But he didn't talk to his parents about it. He didn't talk to his cousin about it. He didn't talk to Jinsung about it. He just bottled it up.
He really bottled it up really hard. Communication is really the problem.
Yeah. But the other couple, mostly J. Pill, are in the same boat. Because J. Pill can't be honest with anyone, including himself. And every awkward thing that happens to him is of his own making.
Can I just say, of course he wants to be a psychiatrist. He has so many issues. And you want to try and solve someone else's.
Yeah, that's what we love to do, baby. It's not about me anymore. It's about you, okay?
All right.
His journey to self-acceptance and honesty is truly fascinating, but you also want to trip him during gym class. Yeah, I know some people had issues with Hyunmin and J-Pill's relationships. A lot of people were like, well, Hyunmin is being too aggressive, or Hyunmin is, not, getting consent from J-Pill. J-Pill is refusing to give it verbally, but is fully capable of getting out of the situation, and he doesn't want to stop it. His insecurities are so much stronger than his ability to just give himself what he wants.
I'm going to say, you know what this comic is? It's a communication issue and a dubious consent issue.
Yeah.
It's full of that.
Because truthfully, their interactions are the most dubious, but it's also that thing of, J. Pill's just running away from his own feelings and is refusing to address them. And so he's like, well, fine, do it or whatever. But it's will you just relax?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe Hyunmin shouldn't be so, not even aggressive, but, consistent about it or just trying to keep him going about it. But it's, also, you are the problem. So their relationship, I think, is also interesting. It's really, though, there to be more of a comic relief because the other relationship gets very tense after a while. And so they're there to be like, look at these two idiots. Mostly J. Pill. Trying to be a big man, and he just needs to relax and stop being weirdo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, J. Pill and Jinsung and Yura all have issues with honesty. Then we have Hyunmin, who is almost honest to a fault, but he too fucks up when he tries to approach his relationship with a layer of invulnerability. I cannot be wrong, I'm perfect at everything, I know all the ways to, have a relationship properly. And so those idiots have to learn to be honest and earnest to have a good time together, and I'm glad they figured it out. Because I love them, but no one else should be forced to date them.
They're ruinous. Let them be ruinous together.
Bit. The reaction to this comic are kind of all over the place, I saw people freaking out over the, like, recurrent dubiousness of fake Yura and Jinsung making a mess of each other. Which, like, yeah, fair, I get where they're coming from. But this is fairly tame by dubious standards, since Jinsung is an enthusiastic participant, and fake Yura does ask for consent. But I think the true discomfort lies in using Yura's body while he's kind of sort of not there. It's like the act of fucking someone you don't know at the expense of someone you do. It's fucky and it's hot to some people, but it's not for everyone. I also do have to reiterate that certain scenes are frightening to the characters and at least a little spooky to the reader.
I was spooked. I was screaming.
Yeah. Other stories have tackled this sort of setup where the roguish lead is disordered, but his other self is suave as fuck and just there to give the main character the best orgasms of their life. No one is really that concerned usually, so I can understand why this one made people feel kind of weird. Because there's absolutely romance novels out here with this kind of thing going on.
This is a horror psychological romance, and
Yeah.
I honestly hope it was labeled as such. If it wasn't, that's why everyone's mad. Because it should be labeled as a horror psychological romance. It really should be.
There were also comments about how the whole thing is too long and surprisingly too filled with porn. And I'll fully admit, I can get tired of smut at some point, especially if it's not aesthetically pleasing or it's, like, repetitive.
This has too much porn.
That's what people say, yeah.
They're upset about the whole.
Yeah, but I think the fucking served as both a salve to the more difficult chapters and a way to heighten the tension in others, so I think it's necessary.
So the smut's needed to kind of... I agree. Like,
Yeah.
You kind of need the smut to, like, break up the psychological fear you're getting.
Because the smut is partially there to even show you that
something's happening.
That the fake Yura is actually having, like, emotional response, that he's not just there for sex. So it serves its purpose. I do think there's a lot of it, but, like, that was also the author's intent. It's also why the Hyunmin and J-Pill couple are utilized, because you need a break from all the, like, lingering discomfort. You need to focus on something else.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Goodmen meant, again, to draw a fluffy smut comic, so the porn was part of the point. The upsetting and confusing mental health shit was not intentional, but she whoops herself and she drew too much story into what should have been a fun romp. The art doesn't help chill things out either, as we've mentioned multiple times, because she's really good at illustrating the full range of emotions. Her style is clean, but it feels sketchy, which gives the characters weight and movement, adding impact to the heavier scenes and to the fucking. It really feels like she tried to inject a lighthearted romp into a staunch dramatic universe. God bless her.
Yeah, no, this is too intense. This is not a lighthearted romp. This is hard mode.
Yeah.
Very good, but you're gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah. All in all, this is a weird one. It's smutty and sexy, but also ranges from uncomfortable to horrifying, and somehow loops around to being a bit heartwarming at times. It's messy and frustrating in a way that leaves you both pitying the characters and impressed with their ability to fix their shit. It's a comic that truly says, mental illness be damned, you can still fuck.
I guess that is the lesson.
So if you want porn with a plot and a strangely in-depth portrayal of a mental disorder, Double Trap is for you. You can read it on Lazen. It contains dubious consent, mental illness, dissociation, mild violence, lack of communication, a mild horror vibe, aggressive and inappropriate flirting, mild manipulation, boundary crossing, and fear of becoming an abuser.
Mm-hmm. I would say there's nothing mild about the horror vibe.
The beginning is the most horror it is, and then it clears up a lot, and it's not quite that point. That's what I'm saying, like, it starts very kind of...
Yeah, but
horror.
I'm the lucky one who got to see all the scary shit.
Well, the beginning is, like I said, the most horrifying part, and then it calms down a lot, and then it's a lot more about regular levels of tension instead of, like, oh, I'm spooked kind of thing. So, what's your whole rating for this, by the way?
So, as a wholes rating, 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. It lost a point because of the title.
Fair.
I'm sorry. I'm not fully compelled to read it, which is why it's an 8 out of 10. It's a good, strong story. Mm-hmm. It's great. But here's the plot twist. It's also getting a horror rating. This is a 12 out of 10. I want to read it because of the horror. Yeah. Not because of the smut. I don't give a shit that they're fucking like rabbits every 2 pages. I do not care. I want to know what's going on with this poor man who's having this dissociative moment. Mm-hmm. I'm in a horror thriller vibe, and this is a 12 out of 10. I want to read it. So take whichever rating you want. Like, if you want, like, some porn, sexy, good times, I'm still giving it an 8 out of 10. I can't get over a bad title, and, like, the spookiness of it is kind of like, a little off-putting. But as a thriller horror, 12 out of 10. I sign me up. I'm into it. Because, like, I'm gonna read this. But am I reading it for the porn? Nope. I'm reading it because I'm terrified.
Yeah. You can find Goodmen on Twitter at Goodmen_X. So GOODMEN_X. And at GoodmenXX on Bluesky. So Goodmen, then XX on Bluesky. If you want to read more from her, you can read Cash or Credit. This is out right now on Layzen. Her first comic, Dogma Darkness, is supposedly getting an English translation at some point, but who knows. But that was the thing that she had written originally before she wrote Double Trap.
Dogma Darkness sounds cool.
And she was like, yeah, that one was really dark and fucky, so I wanted to do something chiller, and no, you didn't.
This isn't chill.
You didn't, yeah. You want more Hole? Of course you might. You can hit us up at Bluesky and Tumblr at hole-chat, or send us an adorable little email at hole.chat.69@gmail.com. Feel free to leave us comments, reply to a post, retweet or reblog, reach out however you want. We'd really appreciate it, and we definitely won't bite, because you can't send teeth through the internet. I don't think it's legal anymore. We'd appreciate it even more if you threw us a like and shared with your friends. Please and thanks.
You can send teeth through the internet.
There's certain laws about sending teeth through the internet, though, right?
You can get it around those. Anyways, tighten up.
Yeah, that's all today. Thanks for listening, and tighten up.
Tighten up.